the first thing I want to talk about is I just want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving. I want to let you know that our family did survive Thanksgiving. It was hard. We had a lot of family here and that was fun, but there's a lot of emotions that go along with not having a member of your family along with you. And so at the end of it, I kind of had a breakdown and got super duper sad, worse than ever before. But God is so faithful to bring you out of those times and bring you out of the pit and help you to find new happiness and new joy. Minnesota, my husband, after Andrew passed away, bought me tickets to Minnesota, and I got to go and visit my friend Jolie and go to the museum and just enjoy wonderful art friend time, and it was super, super healing. So that was great. My husband and I are closer than ever. My family, my kids, we are just hanging in there, and God's bringing us through it. And we miss Andrew. We can't wait to see him again in heaven, but we have joy still, and we are still totally satisfied with our lives and with what God's doing in them. So I just want to say really quick thank you. Thank you to all of the artists that donated pieces to the auction. Thank you to all of the friends and family that donated to the GoFundMe and that have blessed us in so many ways. I can't even tell you, we've received so many cards and gifts and donations and warm, lovely, lovely messages. I can't even tell you how grateful I am for all of you and the wonderful messages. I felt so much outpouring in love, as I do daily from you, and I just want to say thank you, and I just pray for you all. I pray that you have a happy holiday and a great Christmas. I can't wait for January to come so that we can all join together and do this workshop. It's definitely a go at your own pace. So if you get behind, don't feel sad about that. Don't freak out about it. You just, you go as you can go. And if you want to post your pictures on Facebook, that's great, on the group. If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay too. But it is really fun to get encouragement. If you're feeling super happy or super sad, share that too. It's a great place just to be open. I'm going to be open with you, and I'm going to share what I'm going through each day, and I'm going to try to share a lot. Sometimes I'll be quiet for a long time, and that's just because we're working through stuff, but I'm really excited about this group, and I hope that it ends up being a great place for everybody to grow. Whether you're going through a tragedy, you're welcome. You're welcome here. You're welcome to be with us. You're welcome to share your sadness or your joys or your confusion. If you're just growing as an artist, you're welcome here. You're welcome to ask questions about art, ask questions about anything. I mean, just ask, and we are happy to share with you. There are a lot of skilled artists in this group as well as beginning artists, so don't be afraid to just ask your questions. If you're hurting, whether you're going through grief or you're going through just depression, or you are going through a hard time, you're welcome here. If you are just overjoyed and happy and just a happy-go-lucky person, you're not going through anything right now, but you just want to be a supporter of people who are, you're welcome here. Everybody is welcome. And if you feel like there's somebody that really needs it, they are also welcome. So anyway, I'm going to try really hard to give lots of crutches, if that makes sense. I know that a lot of you are beginners and you're nervous about doing art because you haven't done it before. I'm going to give you pictures that you can trace if you want to trace the picture. I'm going to try to give you lots of little hints and tips as much as I possibly can. And if you're feeling far behind, please, please, please ask questions. I am going to try to do a local class, maybe a couple based on, you know, how many people want to do it. So if you're interested in that, please contact me and find out what days of the week that's going on or how you can get involved. I hope this is something that will just be a blessing to many people. My camera just made a weird noise, I think. Hold on. Well, I guess it wasn't my camera. I'm not sure what it was. Oh, it must have been the computer. So anyway, I'll edit that out or not. So let's see here. I want to talk about some supplies. So this is a hardboard artist panel. I got it at Hobby Lobby. This is a narrow one, if you can see. I don't know if you can see the sides, but it's just a small one. I think I paid $3.99 for it. It's just a basic hardboard. The important thing is that you work on a hard surface. So if you're using paper, just tape it to a hard surface. If you want to use wood, you can use wood. Canvas probably won't work for the first, canvas probably won't work for most of them. You can try it, you can give it a go. I need to experiment a little bit with canvas. I just have always used hardboard, so that's what I know, and that's what I know the colored pencils are going to work on beautifully. So one of the big things with these is you're going to need, let's see, to use a little bit of sandpaper and rough it up so that you don't have these edges. I don't know if you can see these edges, but it's definitely got a lot of texture, and you're not going to want to have that texture when you're painting and then you're going to use your colored pencils on it. It will frustrate you, it'll be bumpy, you won't get what you want. So you definitely need to use your sandpaper and get rid of all these bumps. This is what I'm going to use first on the first lesson. It's just a black craft paint. I paid $4.87 for it. This one's Delta Ceram or Creative, but it also goes by Ceramcoat. Yeah. So I mean, there's Americana. There's a lot of different brands. The biggest deal with this is that it has a matte finish, and that's important. So anything that you squirt out of a tube is going to have a glossier finish, and that's not what you're going to want for this project, because you're going to be using colored pencil on it, and the colored pencil is not going to do what you want with a glossy finish. If you need to, you can always use a matte clear coat over it. This is a Posca pen. I wrote about it on the list before, but you can get this from jetpens.com. It's a great, I suggest having 8 of them at a time because it's great. It's a great white pen. You can use it for highlights and paintings. You can use it for so many things. They're $3 something a pen. I usually buy 8 on jetpens.com so that I don't have to pay for shipping, and they're great, hands down. Love these. As far as colored pencils, I definitely use Prismacolors. I wouldn't recommend any other colors for colored pencils. If you're tight on a budget, I would just get, 3 or 4 of your favorite colors. Just, buy one at a time if you need to, but definitely buy Prismacolors if you can. If you're in Europe or somewhere that doesn't have these readily available, hopefully you can get them online on Amazon or Dick Blick or one of those type of places. So let's see what else with the first class. Another great option is these Neocolors that you can use. If you already have Neocolors and you don't have Prismacolors, just use your Neocolors. They're great. They're like a crayon, if you can see them, and they have super bright colors. They can be sharpened and they're water soluble. Highly recommend them. I might use some, but you do not have to have these at all. It's not necessary. You can even just use paint for this technique if you want to. It's just, I prefer and enjoy the colored pencils or the Neo colors in it in that first episode, the first class. Second class, I wanted to talk to you about watercolor. So watercolor, you can just use one of these little Winsor Newton little travel case deals. Mine's a mess, but I have had it for a lot of years. They run around $20, I think, but you can get them for 40% off at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. I've had a lot of people say that they can use cheap, inexpensive stuff and they're perfectly happy with it, and I think that that's great. Whatever is in your budget is great. So low-level watercolors, if that's what you can afford, then get those. If you have a little bit more in your budget to spend, if you have like an unlimited budget, then I totally recommend the QORs or the Winsor Newton. And I don't know whether the QORs are called core or QORs, but they're awesome. And they have wonderful colors. So basically, second lesson, watercolor paper, round brushes, and watercolor. That's it. That's all you need for the second lesson. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth lessons all require square boards. So the first lesson is an 11 by 14, but really the biggest thing is well, actually you can use any size you want for the first lesson, but I used an 11 by 14. The last ones, you can use any size you want, but I'm using squares, and it works out great with squares. So anyway, the third lesson, you're going to want to use some sort of vintage paper, a board like this. So vintage paper being, I'm going to use a hymnal, an antique hymnal, but you can use an old dictionary, you can use any paper with a written words or written music on it, whatever you want to use, sheet music. You know, the sky's the limit. The way that we're going to attach that is with a matte heavy gel from Golden. You can use Mod Podge if you want. You can use white glue if you're on a budget. The biggest thing with white glue, mix it with water. And what I usually did was mix it with water and then soak the paper in the water and the glue, and then put it on your surface, and then squeegee out the excess with a credit card, and then blow it with a blow dryer. So maybe before then I'll give a little lesson just on using the different materials. And then on top of that, we'll use some craft paint, again, which is inexpensive. I recommend going and just getting a bunch of colors that you love. So they're $1 each or $1.27 or something like that. Just buy a bunch of colors that you love and you'll be good to go. And then we'll also use the handy dandy Posca pen again and the Prismacolors. So you should be great on that. If you want to buy expensive paint, if that's in your budget, hold on a second. My favorite kind of paint is Engram. You can use Golden, Liquitex, whatever you want to use. So with the next lessons, you need acrylic paint. Whatever kind of acrylic paint you want to use and whatever colors you love or colors that you love is great. So use what you love and use what colors you love and go off of your budget. So if your budget is low and you don't have a lot of money to spend, then buy craft paint. If you have some extra money to spend, then invest in some of these colors, but also buy some craft paint because they work really well with the colored pencils. Anyway, I love you guys. I am very excited about January. I can't wait to see your progress and to talk with you and to visit with you and just to have a great time. So talk to you soon and have a great holiday. Bye.